This week on The Real Housewives of New York Season 10 Episode 7, Bethenny Frankel and Dorinda Medley were helping the Americans in Puerto Rico with hurricane recovery efforts. Bethenny gossiped about Carole's boyfriend, and the feud between the erstwhile friends continued to intensify. Now, Carole has taken to her blog to write about Bethenny. And she gets pretty vicious. If you watch The Real Housewives of New York City online, you know that Bethenny was appalled at the slow recovery efforts in Puerto Rico. While she didn't toss a paper towel roll into the crowd and declare mission accomplished, she did hand out $125,000 in gift cards in addition to toys for children and other basic necessities. In her blog post, Carole praises her, after a fashion. "I'm glad to see my friend Bethenny step outside her affluent bubble, with her stream of rich boyfriends, rich friends with private planes, million-dollar homes, and five-star resort vacations. That, folks, is shade. And it absolutely sets the tone for the rest of her post. One gets the impression this is the first time she's witnessed real poverty. It can be life-changing. I know it was for me, many years ago when I first covered tragedies as a journalist. You have to love when people talk about someone else's actions while reminding you of their own. The shock of having, then losing, one's home and all its possessions and having the guts and dignity to soldier on is awe-inspiring. Yeah, but not in a good way. There's a fine line between admiring someone's perseverance and what people call poverty porn. It is partly why I quietly give money to charities and political campaigns I believe will make a difference in the world. And why, years ago, I created my own charitable foundation. And why she quietly blogs about it, right? Carole hopes that Bethenny's work in Puerto Rico will change her, as well. It is a good use of celebrity, and I hope this journey will make Bethenny a wiser and kinder person closer to home too." Then she gets more direct. From the looks of it she's got a ways to go. Still, Carole expresses optimism for her former friend. "But I'm not counting her out yet. At least there's that. We are now in episode 7, and as I continue to say how proud I am of her, and ask her about Puerto Rico, she continues to be out of control, aggressive, parrot back anything Sonia tells her, berate Tinsley, a woman who wrote her a $10,000 check, and insult me behind my back. Politely insulting someone instead of directly insulting someone might be better, but not by much, right? And that's just over drinks at Megu. Lol." Carole then makes a cringeworthy comparison. "At lunch Dorinda is being verbally waterboarded, that's what we all call it." She's about to explain her analogy, and we get it, but it's not the most sensitive word to use. Domestic abusers have been known to use this torture method on their victims. Find a new metaphor. Bethenny does this often, you've all seen it, her uninterruptible talk pattern that leaves her victims helplessly nodding in agreement. Bethenny Frankel has a forceful personality. She is charismatic. That is part of why she is so successful and why she makes for such good television. Sonia does this too, which may be why these two are attached at the hip now. Notably, Bethenny believes that Sonia deserves more respect because she opened her home to Tinsley in her time of need. Dorinda is being used as a pawn to further Bethenny's agenda and she doesn't quite know it yet. Right now, that agenda is just helping people in Puerto Rico, but Carole objects to how Bethenny characterizes her and to how her boyfriend, Adam, is characterized. "Not only am I a high-maintenance, eyelash-wearing, fashion-obsessed, childless friend who doesn't have a job and isn't interested in what's going on in the world, but guess what, Adam is too, minus the lashes." Bethenny did not appreciate that Adam refuses to do charity work without compensation. And she said as much on this week's episode. "As a woman, it makes me sad to watch another woman, who I thought was my friend, talk behind my back with such cattiness and disrespect." Some may question whether speaking in front of a camera in footage that will certainly be aired qualifies as behind someone's back. But it makes good television, and in the end that is Bethenny's one true friend. Pass the popcorn. Carole gets very defensive over her career. "All I'll say about the latest bunch of insults, including the bizarre claim that I don't have a career, is this: I will put my resume up against Bethenny Frankel's any day of the week." She's happy to compare work histories. "When Bethenny was auditioning for B-movies, I was traveling for ABC News to places similar to what you saw in Puerto Rico. We do think that Bethenny wa."